Hi, everybody. Welcome to Health Check. I'm Heidi Godman. Hope you're doing well on this fabulous day. We have a great program lined up for you. Listen to this. In a little bit, we're going to talk about the health benefits of growing your own food. So sure, it's good for you. It's a great activity. There's a bit of meditation involved. But there's also just something so intimate and meaningful when you nurture a plant and then get to enjoy its fruit. Sounds great, but what if you don't have a green thumb, or you don't have enough land, or you don't even know what to plant? We will talk to gardening guru Celeste Longacre for some insider advice. We've been telling you for a few weeks now that we'd be getting the chance to talk to Celeste. We gave away her new book on the air last week, so stay tuned. We're going to be speaking with her in just a few minutes. Now to gardening. If you'd like to start growing your own food, we have a great way to start, and that's advice from Celeste Longacre. She's an accomplished gardener who's been growing most of her family's vegetables for 35 years, more than that, actually. And she has this great new book, Celeste's Garden Delights. Welcome to the program, Celeste.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
So we've really been looking forward to this. We've been enjoying your book. We gave it away to one of our loyal listeners last week. And first of all, just tell us a little bit about the book. It's gorgeous, for one thing, and it's not just, how to do one thing or another thing. It's really this compilation. Tell us about it.
Well, it's really a guide on how to live more sustainably, because my husband and I have actually been living sustainably for about the past 35 years. So not only does it have gardening in it, but it has how to put stuff away, so how to freeze them, how to can the stuff that you grow, how to build a root cellar, how to put stuff in the root cellar. It's got some cooking tips, some fermenting tips. Backyard chickens is discussed as well. So it's got lots and lots of information. I actually discovered over the years that, because I've been doing this for so long, everywhere I went, people were asking me questions, well, how do you do this, and how do you do that, and how do you do this, and how do you do that? And finally, one day, a couple of years ago, 3 different people on the same day asked me just to sit down and write a book about it. So I thought,
Yeah,
I guess that's a sign.
That's the universe telling you, put it all down. Well, it's a beautiful book, and everybody, it's called Celeste's Garden Delights. And if someone wants to get a copy, how do we do that? We gave away the copy you sent us, but how else could we get one?
Well, you can go to my website, CelesteLongacre.com, and there is an E at the end of both of my names. So, and you can actually get some reviews of the book there, and you can see some blogs that I've written. So you can check out my writing style, see if that's something that you like, and then you can click on the icon there, and it will take you right to my book at Amazon.
Wonderful. Well, maybe, for people who aren't going to have access to the book, you can give us some insider tips right now on let's just talk about the benefits of gardening, because there are so many. And I want to talk about the food benefits, but before we get to those, let's just talk about the what gardening does for you physically, mentally, emotionally.
Gardening is just a really wonderful thing to do, because it puts you outside, so you're out in the fresh air, you're listening to the birds. And one thing that I noticed about gardening, I sit on the ground a lot because I like to sit on the ground when I weed, and I am an incredibly flexible person. And I can stretch in all different directions in all different ways, and I don't do yoga or anything else, but I think it's because I garden. So when you sit on the ground, your feet have to go certain ways. So that's an added benefit. But also you're breathing the fresh air. It's very contemplative. It gives you time to just relax, and it's sort of a meditative art. You can take your time with the weeding. I actually enjoy weeding, as long as it's not too terribly hot, or I don't have so much to do
it's
that
therapeutic.
It's stressing me out. I think it is very therapeutic.
Like folding socks. For me, folding socks, I don't find it bothersome. I'm okay folding the socks. It's so mechanical, and I love to be in the dirt, and I love. I wouldn't say gardening, because I seriously have a purple thumb, not green. But I am very good at nurturing plants on my deck. So I have a number of different kinds of beautiful flowers, and I treat them like my children. And it's this intimate connection, and I really love it. So this is the one aspect of gardening that I'm good at. I can make these flowers look beautiful and get them up to this beautiful place where they are thriving. And when those buds open up, it's so rewarding. And I've got to imagine that it's the same when you're growing vegetables, that when these beautiful plants produce fruit or vegetables, it must be just incredibly satisfying.
Well, you should try growing some tomato plants in pots on your deck.
Yeah, you think that would work?
I think it might work. The only thing you want to be careful of is you need a really big pot, because tomato plants need a lot of room for their roots to spread out. And also, they need to be watered quite often because plants in pots will dry out faster than plants in the ground. But it's very, very exciting to see your garden coming to fruition and see all the plants that you've been tending for so long, getting ready to give you fruit. And then the health benefits are absolutely incredible because I don't use any pesticides or herbicides or even any chemical fertilizers. I just use manure and compost and kelp meal and azomite powder and alfalfa meal, organic alfalfa meal. And so I know what's going into these plants. They're rich in nutrients, they're rich in vitamins, they're rich in minerals. A lot of our soils have lost a lot of their minerals. And when you eat them, you can't beat fresh. Studies have shown that once plants are picked, they will actually use their own nutrients to stay alive. So if you're eating something that's been shipped across the country or from another country, that whole time that fruit or vegetable is being shipped, it's using up its nutrients. So if you get it a week later, there isn't really all that much left.
Well, and it's so important to include so many fresh vegetables. The suggestion is 5 to 9 servings a day. And that seems so overwhelming. But everybody, if you think about it, if you have one fruit and one vegetable serving at each meal, then, that's 6. So you're over the line. And then you can stick in some others. You can really get creative and increase it pretty easily. And the antioxidant value, the nutrients, the vitamins in fresh fruits and vegetables, so wonderful.
Well, and I also think that most Americans, I don't think have really had a really fresh vegetables because they taste unbelievably different. Like farmers can't really afford to let tomatoes get super ripe because when they get really, really, really red and really ripe, they're so easy to bruise. Practically you can't help but bruise them when you handle them. But if you have your own garden and you can let the tomatoes get really, really red and really, really ripe, it's just an unbelievable experience to eat them. They're just so different. Broccoli is so different when you grow it yourself. Brussels sprouts is so different, and eggplant and okra and everything from the garden. I remember my dad, before he passed over, he used to say that he kind of complained because he said, food doesn't taste as good as it used to. And before World War II, all the farmers were organic. They all used compost and manure. They weren't using chemical fertilizers, and they weren't using chemical insecticides and pesticides and herbicides. So the food tasted better.
Yeah,
when you went to the store, it probably came from a farm down the road.
And it wasn't just on farms, too. My parents grew up in the Depression. My mom's parents had a garden, a huge garden, that they used to feed the family back in the 30s and even the 40s. So that was a big part of so many people's lives. It's too bad we've gotten away from it, but I'm so glad that you're here to inspire us to get back to it. Your book, Celeste's Garden Delights, is one way, everybody, that you can get started. But also, Celeste is going to give us some of her personal advice on how you can start growing your own food and living more sustainably. But we need to take a quick break. So more with Celeste Longacre in just a minute. You are listening to Health Check with Heidi Godman on WSRQ. Stay with us.